Prophet Samuel was a messenger sent during a tumultuous and challenging period for the Israelites. At that time, the Israelites, due to their disobedience and sins, had become divided and weak, falling under the domination of their enemies, particularly the Canaanites. Samuel was chosen as a prophet and divine guide to lead them out of this darkness. However, many scholars and people of Israel doubted his prophethood and viewed him with skepticism. Some, driven by bias and excuses, questioned his mission and refused to accept his guidance. Amidst this, the sacred Ark of the Covenant, which symbolized God's presence among the Israelites, played a crucial role as a divine sign. When the ark was brought before the people, a heavenly light emanated from it, leaving all present in awe. This divine light was a clear sign of God's endorsement of Samuel's prophethood. Those who had previously been skeptical and doubtful realized their mistake upon witnessing this miracle and accepted Samuel's prophethood. The Ark of the Covenant was not only a symbol of God's covenant with the Israelites but also, at that moment, a clear sign of Samuel's legitimacy and his divine mission. This event served as a profound lesson for the Israelites, that sometimes, due to prejudices and unwarranted doubts, people reject the truth, but divine signs always illuminate the path. Samuel, with patience and perseverance, continued his mission and guided the people toward salvation. The acceptance of his prophethood after the emergence of the divine light from the ark demonstrated that sometimes, a single divine sign can soften hardened hearts and turn doubt into certainty. During this time, the Canaanites attacked the Israelites, and the people were gripped by fear and despair. Having wallowed in disobedience and sin for years, instead of repenting and turning back to God, they sought quick and material solutions. In this critical situation, some of the Israelites turned to Samuel, the prophet of God, and asked him to entrust them with the Ark of the Covenant so they could take it into battle. They believed that the physical presence of the sacred Ark, a symbol of God's covenant with them, would bring them victory. However, this request was not born out of faith but out of desperation and reliance on a material object. Samuel, aware of the people's weak faith and disobedience, warned them, but they insisted. Eventually, the ark was taken to the battlefield, but the outcome was not what the Israelites had hoped for. In the battle between the Israelites and the Canaanites, the Israelites were defeated, and the sacred ark fell into the hands of their enemies. This defeat not only dealt a severe blow to the morale of the Israelites but also demonstrated that true victory is only possible through faith and obedience to God, not by relying on symbols and material tools. The capture of the ark by the Canaanites was a great tragedy for the Israelites. This bitter event reminded them of the warnings of Samuel and other prophets, who had repeatedly called them to return to God and repent from their sins. But now, the sacred ark, a symbol of God's presence among them, had fallen into enemy hands, dealing a heavy blow to their pride and faith. This defeat was a profound lesson for the Israelites, that victory and salvation come only through genuine faith and obedience to God's commandments, not by relying on external symbols and tools. After the defeat of the Israelites and the capture of the ark, Samuel, the prophet of God, called the people to return to God and repent. He reminded them that the only path to salvation was through genuine faith and obedience to God's commands. The people, weary from the defeat and the suffering caused by their disobedience, heeded Samuel's call and repented with broken hearts. They sought forgiveness for their sins and vowed not to return to their old ways. Years passed, and under Samuel's guidance and his journeys to various places, the people remembered God. However, among the people, there were still those who remained attached to the unbelieving Samiri and his misleading ideas, the same Samiri whom Moses, the prophet of God, had exiled and banished from the people. These followers of Samiri, in Samuel's absence, began to conspire and returned to idol worship. They crafted idols, just as the people had worshipped the golden calf during Moses' time. When Samuel learned of this, he was filled with anger and sorrow. He destroyed the idols and called the people to repent and return to God once more. Samuel warned them that continuing down this path would only bring punishment and destruction. In this critical time, the Canaanites attacked the Israelites again and besieged them. The people, finding themselves in a situation similar to the time of Moses when they were trapped by the sea, became terrified and filled with fear. They turned to Samuel for help and asked him what they should do. Samuel, with unwavering faith, told them, "God is with us. Do not fear." He assured them that if they trusted in God and held on to their faith, God would deliver them. Samuel prayed to God, asking him to destroy their enemies. In response to Samuel's prayer, dark clouds covered the sky, and fierce thunder and lightning began. The lightning struck the Canaanite army, crushing them. The enemies of the Israelites were miraculously destroyed, and the people were saved from danger. This event once again reminded the Israelites of God's power and the importance of faith and trust in Him. Samuel seized this opportunity to encourage the people to obey God and avoid sin, guiding them toward a life based on the divine covenant. After God answered Samuel's prayer and destroyed the enemies of the Israelites with thunder and lightning, the Canaanites, terrified by the power of God, returned several cities they had previously taken from the Israelites. This victory and the reclaiming of the cities strengthened the morale of the people, but they remained anxious about the future. They approached Samuel and asked him to appoint a ruler for them so that they could live under the leadership of a king, like other nations. Samuel was troubled by this request, as he knew that only God was worthy of ruling over the people, so he prayed to God. God revealed to him that at the upcoming gathering, a man would be present who would be chosen as the ruler of the Israelites.